now, right 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 now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We've got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been getting bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the drop that is currently occurring on Bitcoin because Bitcoin has dropped over $700 in the last hour and a half, and we have begun a major correction that could lead us much, much farther to the downside. As you guys know, we had a major rally towards the end of October, and ever since then, we've been essentially trading sideways right in the region between $35,000 and $38,000. Well, we've more or less triple topped up at $38,000 with the third top being lower than the first two, which indicates bearishness. But at the same time, we also have a series of higher lows forming on the hourly chart. So we're really in this state of having to consider what is going to happen next on the market. And today we're having some price action, some volatility that may give us more insight into what is going to happen next. So if you're interested in seeing where Bitcoin goes from here, then you found the right place. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto. This is our week daily live stream where we go over all of the technicals and fundamentals that are relevant to you, the investor and trader in the cryptocurrency market. So thank you very much if it's your first time here. I also want to give a major shout out to everybody who took advantage of the deals yesterday on Lux Algo and on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. We've had many people sign up with those deals in mind. If you guys did not know, Lux Algo is doing an absolutely crazy sale right now that, again, as a business owner, I can tell you you're never going to see those deals again because Lux Algo is worth a lot more than what it's being discounted for right now. And CT2A is also 30% off right now. So you can find both of those links down below. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but the focus of today's stream is the drop on Bitcoin. So let's read some chat and jump straight into our show map. Really appreciate all of you for being here. Sean O'Brien is in chat, said, hey, good morning to you, Sean. Mike Lowry's in chat, being a faithful and wonderful moderator. As always, thank you very much to Mike Lowry. Grand Roofing Incorporated is here, said, good morning, everyone. Queen's in chat. Paul Torelli, happy Mac. Coin Operator, bullish on parade. Striker, Adel Afsi is here. Mark is here. Fred is here. We got to get the backwards R. Coiner is in chat. Patrick Power and Fred. Boom. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and jump straight on over to CoinMarketCap and get started. The very first thing we want to talk about is the drop that's happening right now on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's currently sitting at $36,500, down 0.3% over the last 7 days, down 2% in the last 24 hours. And looking at the Bitcoin chart, you can see that drop occurring here on the hourly chart. Pretty large drop happening pretty quickly. If you remember, we drew this on our chart yesterday, indicating that I believed that Bitcoin was going to reject at $38,000, fall back below $37,000, and then it was likely going to come down and up and back test this uptrending level of support right here. And that is essentially what we are seeing that Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin has attempted a rally all the way up here to about $38,000 during yesterday's stream, which was, of course, at 10 o'clock in the morning. We were right here. We talked about a triple top up here around $38,000. We got up to $37,700, so it was close. It wasn't quite a triple top, but it was almost up to the same level. Very close within that zone. We drew this level right here based on these support and resistance touches here, these resistance touches here, that if Bitcoin fell down and broke below this, then we were going to have to really consider what the market would do next. And then, of course, there are a couple of trend lines that we've talked about, this trend line being one of them, and this longer-term uptrend being one of them as well. And Bitcoin is likely to contend with both of those. Right now, Bitcoin is still in the catchment area of these two levels of support, this uptrending level of support and this flat level of support here at $37,000. What we need to see now is whether Bitcoin is going to pull and fall all the way back down to $35,700, and that's what we're going to be talking about in today's technical analysis portion of the show. If you don't know how this works and we look at the technicals, then we will look at the fundamentals. And there are some fundamentals and extra cryptocurrency forces that I believe that we need to talk about that are going to give us more intel on what's going to happen next on Bitcoin coming up later on in the show. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But back to CoinMarketCap, you can see that Ethereum is also down 2.7% over the last 24 hours. And the reason this is so significant is because this is a major change of direction. We've had a lot of bullishness coming from Bitcoin and the altcoins relatively recently, and our prediction is that sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks, I would say, you are going to see a rally begin on the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market, and it'll likely be led by Bitcoin, and then it will follow into an altcoin cycle, an altcoin rally, a second altcoin rally moving probably into January. That's how we see things playing out. So stay tuned because we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Kraken. I know you guys are going to be dying to hear about that. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show. So if you're enjoying today's stream, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of content coming. Really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Now, the good news is it's not as big of a drop as it could be, and I hesitate to even call it a crash because Bitcoin, while it does look like a crash, if you go down on the hourly chart on longer term time frames, we're looking at a 2 to 3% movement. But the reason that I do call that a crash is because we have not seen that much bearishness on Bitcoin very often recently. We've only seen 2 instances of bearishness this dramatic in many, many weeks, and all 3 of them have happened recently. I want you to take note of that. The last time that we saw a correction this large was back here on October the 9th. We went an entire month, this whole region right here, from October 9th to November 13th without any major crash. And then we see 3 of them in a row. 1, 2, 3. The market is telling us something, guys. It's telling us that the bulls are weaker than they were. It's telling us that the bears are stronger than they were. And we need to bear that in mind. Again, we'll talk about that more here in just a second. Solana's down a little bit over the last 7 days. Tron, Toncoin, Chainlink coming in as well with the red. Cardano's slightly in the green over the last 7 days, but had a rough day, down 5%. Litecoin down, pretty much everything down across the board in the last 7 days, except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's basically trading sideways. But again, we're also dealing with those major corrections that we have witnessed time and time again. So we're about to jump into our technical analysis. But before I jump into our technical analysis, I do just want to let you know that all of the technical analysis that you're about to see can be learned in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. That is our academy where I've been teaching students for over 5 years how to do technical analysis on cryptocurrency markets. And in those 5 years, we've been able to help through dozens of hours of video and dozens of videos. We've been able to help over 5,000 students learn how to do technical analysis in the cryptocurrency markets. And those students have gone out and made thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, some of them millions of dollars in the cryptocurrency space because of what they learned in CT2A combined with their own hard work. And I will not take that credit from them. They've worked very hard. But I've also been very blessed with the ability to help them learn the technical analysis that has been able to bring them that wealth. And if you want to take advantage of the bull market that is coming, there's a massive bull market coming. Even if we drop for the next week, there's a huge bull market coming in the next 12 to 18 months. If you want to take advantage of that, then you need to sign up for the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy today, as many people are doing. Because in CT2A, I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know to prepare yourself for that coming bull market so that when you are doing your technical analysis, you are able to make valid predictions. You're able to know what coins to invest in, when to invest in them, how to make profitable trades, how to understand the psychology of the market, and how to be confident in your ability to make money in this space. There are millions of dollars sitting, waiting to be gathered by those that have the skill set to gather that revenue, that income, that trading, those trading profits. But to do so, you have to understand technical analysis. It is the foundational tool that any cryptocurrency, stock market, you name it, trader or investor must understand to be able to understand how to make money in the markets. They've got to be able to read the market. To make money in a market, it only logically makes sense that you need to understand how to read the market. So I'm going to take you no matter where you are, whether you're a beginner or already an expert, and I'm going to grow your ability to analyze the markets through the art form of technical analysis. It's over 130 years old. It's how everybody has ever made money in a market ever. And so I want to teach you how to do that and apply that to cryptocurrency. So make sure to check it out. The link in the description box down below. We've got a 30% off coupon code down there. And you can go ahead and sign up today. You can see the course right over here. We've got dozens and dozens of videos here and a lot more coming. I've got so many videos planned for this course. We're going to be starting. Let me make sure there's nothing that I'm missing in chat. Nope. think we're good. Gary giveth and Gary taketh away. John Doe says that's about the truth, or at least that's the way Gary sees it. All right, let's jump into our analysis. Right now, Bitcoin trading at $36,500. And I do just want to mention again that kind of point, that data point that I gave you in the beginning of the show. We are witnessing right now a third major correction, dare I say crash, on Bitcoin's hourly chart that we have seen in the last week. Before that last week, we did not see a crash of that magnitude, of the scope or scale of any of the three of these corrections for a month. It's an early warning sign. And let's just kind of briefly go over a few of those warning signs that we've been watching here on the chart. One of them happened on November the 9th. We saw the Ethereum ETF was announced that BlackRock was going to be applying for an Ethereum ETF. On the very same day, Bitcoin hit a yearly and local high. Ethereum did the exact same thing, hit a yearly and local high at 2140. On Bitcoin, we hit 38,000. That was an inflection point. One of the things that you will learn in analysis is that there are things called inflection points, and those are your decision points. When you come to a fork in the road, which direction do you take? Sometimes if you are driving down the interstate and an off-ramp comes on, whether you keep going on the interstate or you get off on the off-ramp kind of tells you whether or not you need to get off the interstate for something, right? If you get off the interstate, then that tells you that somebody needs to go to the bathroom, you need to get gas, you need to buy food, whatever it is. If you keep going on the interstate, then that kind of tells you that, okay, at least we think we're good and we don't need to get off the interstate right now. That's kind of what happens when you see one of these major decisions happen in the market and you see the market move a lot. It tells you something about the psychology of the market. And when we saw the Ethereum spot ETF announced that it was being applied for by BlackRock, the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market moved very aggressively for about 24 hours to the upside, and then they topped out. And the market could not rally any farther, and the traders lost their confidence. The market was able to rally very quickly when that news came out, all the way to $38,000 on Bitcoin, 2140 on ETH. And then very quickly, we sharply corrected in one of the largest, deepest, quickest corrections that Bitcoin has seen in a very long time. We had not seen Bitcoin drop, as you can see here, by $2,000 in 2 hours in God only knows how long. You've got to go probably all the way back to Cointelegraph's debacle back over here to find a $2,000 drop in an hour or two. That was because the market showed that it was finally overextended. $38,000 was finally where the bulls had to really reach to get to. And we went back to it once. We rallied back to it back on the 15th of November, and we sort of rallied up there more recently. But you can see in this market how this market is faltering. This is not as bullish of a market as it is over here where we're going parabolic. This is not as bullish of a market over here where we're gradually trending to the upside. This is a market that is starting to hit its apogee. It's starting to hit the top. And so while it's been an unpopular opinion of mine, I've been telling you guys for the last, week and a half, we've been looking at some corrections. We're looking at some difficulties that the market is going through. Do I think it's going to go to 39 or 41? Yes. Is that going to happen today? Probably not. We're looking at that happening before the end of the year. But also before the end of the year, I would not be surprised to see a correction down to 35 or even all the way down to 31.8. We did already hit the 35, so it's possible that that correction is over. But a correction down to 35, 32.5, or 31.8 are three levels of support that we're looking at is still in the cards. And what we said yesterday is that a triple top is the strongest form of resistance that you will find on a technical chart. Let me say that again. A triple top is the strongest form of resistance that you will find on a chart, a price action chart. Period. There's a video over in CT2A where we talk about double tops, double bottoms, triple tops, triple bottoms, and we're going to be talking about more of that in the future in CT2A as well. But one of the things I teach in there is that if you have a double top, that is, if you have a single top, that is resistance that is set. Let's call that your kind of baseline resistance. If you come up there and you test it twice, that resistance just got stronger because you can think about an assaulting army. They attacked the wall in one place. They were repelled. All right, the wall must be standing firm. They attack it a second time. Well, the wall's probably a little bit weaker, but they still got rejected at the same place. That must be a pretty strong wall, even if it's a little weaker than it was the first time. The assaulting army must be a little bit weaker than they were the first time. The wall's probably not going to crack. You test it a third time, then you say, wow, man, you're not getting through that wall. That wall is firm. It is solid. It's not going to move. Get rejected 3 times. That's kind of 3 strikes, you're out. If you test a resistance level 3 times, most of the time, not all the time, we'll get to the caveat here in a second, most of the time, not getting through that resistance. Sometimes the assaulting army will come up and test the same level 10, 20 times. And yes, at that point, you're thinking, all right, well, the bulls are obviously very strong resistance, but the bulls are way stronger. It's going to break. But the third top The third time you hit a level of resistance and you create a triple top, that is where you have some of the strongest resistance in all of technical analysis. And again, that's one of the things that we teach in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. So make sure to check that out. The link in the description box down below. That's essentially what we've done. When you see one top, a second top, and a third top, especially if the third top is slightly weaker than the first or the second. By the way, we did not have as aggressive of a rally moving up into the 38K region, and we didn't go all the way to the 38K region. Compare and contrast. Let's go back to third grade. Compare and contrast. One of these things is not like the other. One of these rallies is smaller. One of these things is not like the other. One of these rallies didn't go all the way to 38K. One of these things is not like the other. One of these rallies is having a massive crash, whereas the first one we traded sideways. And the second one we bounced up and started rallying again. We need to see how this plays out. But this rally is looking weaker than the first two, and we didn't even go to 38. So that's where we have to draw some conclusions and where we have to have some concern. We're also breaking through our flat level of support at 37. We're also breaking this uptrending level of support as we speak. Where's our next level? It's right here around 35.7. If you see a drop down to 35.7 today, even without opening your chart, you can know that we have fallen down to this uptrending level of support, and that needs to hold lest we start falling all the way down towards 31.8. That's quite a few steps to get down to 31.8. I'm not saying that that's for sure going to happen, but what I am saying is that a break above $38,000, while I do think it will happen, and I don't think it'll be that long, and by not that long, I think probably within the next 2 months, probably before the end of the year, but it might take into January. Before that occurs, a drop still might be in the cards. And this is where you're hearing some indecision in my voice. You're hearing some, well, Jeb, it could go up or go down. Which one is it? Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. That's what we're analyzing. Those are the conclusions that we're drawing. And we have to be somewhat tentative for two reasons. Number one, if the market doesn't know, then we don't know. Maybe I should say that twice for the people in the back. If the market doesn't know, then we don't know. We can only be as confident in the direction of the market as the market is confident in the direction of the market. I like to think about trading or the market kind of like a relationship, like a friendship or a marriage or something. Your job as an analyst, and we teach this in CT2A, your job as an analyst is to use your listening ears. Right? That's why I tell my 3-year-old, to use your listening ears. That's why I tell myself, use your listening ears. You know, my wife and I were talking the other day, and I was talking and she was being very polite and listening, and this is a very funny story. As far as it's because, you know, it's egg on my face. And I was talking and she said, Jeb, you use your, because she was trying to say something, I wasn't letting her talk. She said, Jeb, use your listening ears. And I just looked over and I said, they talk too. She just started laughing. She's like, yeah, I know. She didn't say that, but she was very kind about it. But my point is, I talk too much, right? It's my job. It's our job as analysts to listen. Why? To the market. Wisdom dwelleth in the heart of him that hath understanding, is what the Bible says. When we want to make good money in the market, we must make wise financial decisions. Well, wisdom dwelleth in the heart of him that hath understanding, so we must understand. How do we understand? We listen. The market's shouting at us. It's saying this, that, X, Y, Z, the third. It's telling us these things. The difficulty with analysis of any kind, not just technical analysis, but fundamental analysis, etc., is if you are being a good listener and listening to what the market's saying, but the market's not giving you anything to go off of, then you can't really tell what the market's going to do. Sometimes the market is going to shout at you from the rooftops, we're going up, here's 15 reasons why. And sometimes those are very hidden reasons that take a trained eye to find. But there are other times where the market is being indecisive. This is one of those times. So you're hearing me say, well, there's this scenario, there's this scenario. To a certain degree, I want you to make your own decision about where you think it's going to go. I want to make my own decision about where I think it's going to go. But at the end of the day, the decision that really matters is the decision that the market makes about where it's going to go. And as an analyst, as a wise analyst, not a fool, not a noob at analysis, but as a wise analyst, we must realize that the way that we use our analysis is that we prepare for all scenarios, so that when we see a scenario start to play out, then we can jump into action and make a trade. It's not about predicting where the market's going to go next with 100% certainty. It's about having a strong indication, if you can get it, about where the market's going to go, and then being prepared mostly for that scenario, but also being prepared for the hedge scenarios where I have a 70% likelihood it's going to do this, there's a 10% likelihood it'll do this, a 13% likelihood it'll do that, a 7% likelihood that'll happen. I'm going to prepare for all of them, but I'm going to put as much work into each scenario as there is likelihood that it will occur. There's a 70% chance that Bitcoin's going to do something. I'm putting 70 or more % of my effort of preparing for a trade or an investment into that scenario. And right now, with the market being indecisive, we need to prepare for the bullish scenario and for the bearish scenario because Bitcoin's flip-flopping, to be quite honest. And so, it's funny, Bitcoin flip-flops, and then I get accused of flip-flopping. I say, well, thank you, because that's what the market's telling me. So if I can be a megaphone for what the market is sharing with me, then I've done my job. And so here's the deal. I do have an indication about what's going to happen with Bitcoin, but I do need to let you know that what the market is sharing with me right now through the analysis that I have done and the analysis that we are currently doing together here on Coffee and Crypto, there's not a lot of cohesive direction other than the fact that we've had a triple top. The third rally was weaker, pretty large correction going on right now. If we look out on the daily chart, then we are seeing that there is quite substantial bearish RSI divergence, which shall not be ignored. No wise trader should ever ignore RSI divergence. RSI divergence right there and right there. As you can see, out on the longer term time frames, there's even bigger RSI divergence. Rallies right there. Corrections right there. Lower highs right there on the RSI. Something that you absolutely need to take into account. You've also got MACD that's turned bearish. On the daily chart, Lux Algo. Lux Algo has rallied all the way up here, and we had a sell signal briefly. A buy signal came back in. But if we rewind, Lux Algo has hit its price target. Can you see this? We had a buy signal here on the 28th of September. By the way, we're about to talk about Lux Algo in a minute. Great deals going on over there. You don't want to miss. Make sure to check the links in the description box down below. As you can see, we rallied up to the take profit. Let me just remove all the drawings for a second. We rallied up to the take profit. Where's the take profit? Between 35,477 and 37,867. Lux Algo called this perfectly. Let me just reiterate. Our initial take profit was 39.5 to 31.8. Well, 31.8 was the local high over here. That was obviously the level of resistance that we were going to pay very close attention to. I'll just go ahead and quickly draw you a horizontal level. That's exactly where we went. Lux Algo nailed that. Because just so you know, I don't think the Lux Algo indicator is even aware that that was a local high. It might have been. I'm not sure if that's how it's calculated. But it got it spot on. Bitcoin went straight to that take profit. But after you break through a take profit, then the take profit updates. And when the take profit updated, it immediately updated to 35.4 to 37.8. I cannot sing the praises of Lux Algo highly enough because it called it perfectly. And that's exactly where we've been ever since. If you scrub forward the market, you can see the price action more recently that you may be more familiar with in recent memory. And then it disappears because we have this red take profit. But before that, that red sell signal, but before we had that red sell signal, as you can see, it's about to pop up, we went exactly to the take profit. So the point I'm making here is that we've got bearish RSI divergence on the daily chart. We've got MACD that's turned bearish. We've got Bitcoin having hit the Lux Algo price target after it updated once. Normally, Lux Algo is not going to have 3 updates unless you're having the take profit's not going to have 3 updates unless you've got just something absolutely crazy going on fundamentally. You're going to hit the first take profit, and then if you go through it, then yes, you might hit the second. Hitting the third's unlikely. The third take profit from here is, well, funnily enough, it's up at that next level that we've talked about, and it may happen. I think it's the less likely of the scenarios. But the next take profit after this sell signal and subsequent buy signal, and this is a confirmed buy signal, but based on the fact that this sell signal was only active a day, I'm just going to consider that a repeat of the first one. We're looking at 40,000 to 42,800. That's up into the reversal zone. Bitcoin is currently falling out of the reversal zone. Notice we were up here in the top of the reversal zone. That's the reversal zone right here. We were in the top of the reversal zone. Now we're barely struggling. We're rejecting off of the bottom of it. Do you see this? We're rejecting off of the bottom of the reversal zone. Here's the reversal zone right there. See it showing up right through there. What does that entail? That entails that the bulls have spent most of their energy. And so the wise trader right now would be looking for a correction. That's what I believe. Now, the market is showing us quite a bit of indecision because there are these rallies up to 38. But in general, we're looking at correction, consolidation. That's been the same message I've given you for the last 2 weeks. We're looking for correction, that's sideways motion, and consolidation. Sorry, we're looking for consolidation, that's sideways motion. We're looking for correction, which is bearish, downward motion. And the 3 levels that we're looking to catch us are as follows. $35,000. That level is right. Well, I have it drawn on another chart. Yes, right here. Those are these levels right here. $35,000. 35K was a baseline of support. Let's just, oh gosh, I love doing that. Just remove all drawings. We've got a $35,000 base level of support right here. Resistance in the more recent market, support, resistance in the further away market, support in the more recent market. Then we've got a level of support at 32,935. I'm just going to go ahead and put that right there. That level comes from about a year and a half ago when we were looking at a bottom event on January 24th of 2022, 32,935. Then we bust out Fibonacci retracement. Fibonacci retracement also gives us a level of support right around 32.5 to 32.9. Right here it says 32.7, so somewhere right in there, 32.5 to 32.7, somewhere in that range. There's basically a little tiny zone of support around 32.5 to 32.9. And then there's that previous Lux Algo price target, which is also our yearly high before everything that we've done in the last few weeks. That's 31.8. These are the three levels that we're looking at right now. And with Bitcoin showing a lot of bearish signs, I expect that we will hit at least one of those. I've been saying that since before we hit 35, and we did hit 35. With this triple top, I'm leaning more in the direction, and this does necessarily have to change by the day because we get new information every day that changes things slightly. So, you know, it's one of the things where, you know, detractors of technical analysis be like, oh, you're changing your mind every day. Well, the market changes every day. We've got to update things every day, right? I mean, how useful would a meteorologist be if he only gave you a report once a month? He didn't take into account any new data. That would not be a very useful piece of data. How useful would any scientist be if they only that's supposed to report data daily, if they only did it once a month? You'd be out of date 29 days in the month. You need daily information. That's why I do a stream every day, because things are changing every day. And the last day has shown more bearishness than bullishness, and so that necessarily, and I do mean necessarily, has to pivot our perception of the market slightly more in the bearish inclination than it was yesterday. Yesterday, I had a feeling that we were going to reject at 38, and we weren't even going to quite get there. That's what happened. And so now we're seeing the fruit of that, which is a correction and more bearishness coming into the market. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. We've got 433 people live right now. If you guys have not already hit that like button, smash the like button. Let's see if we can get it up to 150 likes on the stream. Really appreciate all of you for tuning in. If you did not know already, there is a huge sale going on Lux Algo. And if you go to the link in the description box down below, you can see it yourself. Let me just pull it up really quickly. This sale is crazy, and there's only 3 days and 12 hours left. This is a Black Friday sale. Get up to 60% off. Now, a couple of things on this. I'm going to try and keep this under 60 seconds. Don't worry. We're going to jump straight back into some chat reading, some fundamentals. We got to talk about Kraken. We got to talk about the stock market, several other things to talk about that are going to impact Bitcoin. But I do want to let you know about this deal right now because I want you to save some money this Black Friday. God knows that we're all trying to do that, right? Two things. Lux Algo has come out with two new tiers, Essential and Ultimate. So basically the way this works, Premium is what you're used to. That's all the premium technical indicators. There are two new tiers, a basic tier and a premium tier above premium, so it's called Ultimate. The Essentials tier is all the price action concepts, toolkits. And I need to show you all those in future content. Don't have time to go into it right now, but I will be showing you that. That is about half the price of premium, and it's got a 50% off coupon code on the yearly subscription right now. So make sure to check that out. Hit subscribe. Go to the link in the description box down below so that you can get access to these deals. Subscribe to Lux Algo and get them now. Premium is 55% off on the yearly. The best you've ever been able to get off is 30% because of the JEB30 coupon code. Now you can get 55% off for the next 3 days only. This will bring the price of premium down from $67 a month if you do the monthly version down to, like, I don't know, average out $220 divided by 12. What is that? $16 a month? That's a great deal. You need to get access to that. Now, the Ultimate is 60% off. It'll normally be $713.88 a year. It's down to $287.95 right now. This is the backtesting system. If you guys are not familiar, Lux Algo created an incredibly powerful backtesting system to backtest all of their indicators. Because Lux Algo firmly believes that they have indicators that work. I firmly believe that they have indicators that work. And I firmly believe that when you go in there, because I've seen it done, when you go in there and backtest them, they work really, really, really well. So if you're a professional trader or analyst and you want to backtest Lux Algo or just about anything, that is the best backtesting system on the market. They've been developing it for over 18 months now. It was launched in a beta version, only with lifetime sales last Black Friday. This Black Friday, it is commercial. You can now buy it. So sign up with the link in the description box down below. Can you apply the JEB coupon on top of the Black Friday deal? I've been told no, but you can try it. I doubt it, but hitting that link down below does help to support our channel, and it does help to show Sean that we are a community that loves Lux Algo, so make sure to sign up using that link if you don't mind. All right, let's read chat here for a couple of minutes. It is 10:30. Here in about 3 to 4 minutes, we're going to jump into some technical analysis, so stay tuned. I'm sorry, some fundamental analysis, so stay tuned. We've got some news to cover, some charts I want to show you, and some things that I believe are important. Mike Lowry said, I'm thankful for Jeb and his knowledge and his willingness to share it with us. Thank you, Mike Lowry. Appreciate all that you do to keep the chat clean and for supporting us over the years. Brandon Carl is in chat. Said, Jeb is younger than me and he is an absolute master. Let's go, people. We are early. There's a lot going on in crypto, and we've definitely got a lot to look forward to. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right. Crypto Mini Bike said some news just breaking the DOJ to announce cryptocurrency enforcement today. Yeah, we're going to look into that. Don't know what's going to happen with that just yet, but we will look into that. They like to make these big, flashy announcements, and then it's some tiny little exchange in Southeast Asia that you've never heard of before. I remember that happened about 3 months ago. There's a new enforcement action going on, and it was this tiny little exchange nobody had ever heard of. It had zero impact on the market. So we'll see. I've got a little bit of a boy who cried wolf mentality with the DOJ coming out against things right now. So I don't think that they're going to... it's probably that somebody was breaking a law somewhere in the world, not that they're coming out with new legislation or anything, because the DOJ can't. They're part of the executive. And, you know, by executive order, you can do quite a bit, but DOJ typically isn't the one that's doing that. That'd typically be the presidency. Luckily. So they're probably coming after somebody that broke the law somewhere, but I doubt it's a new, like, regulation or something. They're not the ones that do that. Which is good to know to calm any fears. Christopher Ryan said, Jeb, how you doing today? I'm doing good. Thank you. Luis Herrera is saying, holding tight to after the halving. Thank you very much. Thank you. Not thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good job is what I meant to say. A little out of the loop here. Good job is what I meant to say. That's your cryptocurrency portfolio speaking through me. Thank you very much for holding on until after the halving. Recession coming. BTC high for the year is already in. Yeah, I wouldn't. It's possible that the high for the year is already in. Is a recession coming? That's I'm not convinced based on the economic data. SEC lawsuit against Kraken. We're going to jump into that here in just a second. Crypto Cowboy said, thanks for the good work, Jeb. Thank you. Joey Van Englenberg in chat, as always, said, look forward to today's stream. Good to see you. Will there be a show tomorrow or Friday? There will be a show tomorrow, and there will be a show Friday. There will not be a show Thursday because it's Thanksgiving. I'm going to be working very hard to pre-record all of the other content that will be going up Thursday and Friday. Why is Bitcoin dropping so hard? Well, that's kind of what we've talked about so far today. I'll just do a quick recap of that. If you want to see more on that, make sure to scrub back in the stream and watch the rest of the stream. But a quick recap is essentially that Bitcoin, ever since the Ethereum ETF, has been running on fumes, and the Bitcoin market has been running on fumes, and there just is not a lot of bullishness left. Bitcoin has spent a lot of what it was in its tank, and so now it's just kind of hovering up here around 38. We are gradually losing strength, and a correction of some caliber is likely to come in, maybe only back down to 35. Maybe we trade sideways up here for a time. But if history is to teach us anything, my southern accent is always wanting to come out at the weirdest times. I don't understand it. If history is to teach us anything, we are likely to have some kind of gradual correction as we have seen so far this year. And that correction is something that we are going to want to stay tuned for. And my prediction is more sideways, more correction. The lows to be looking out for are 31.8, 32.5 to 33, and 35. And I think that you will hit at least one of those. I would not be at all surprised to see if it would be 32.5 to 33. That is a level and a zone that we want to pay close attention to. All right, let's go ahead and get started over here on CoinDesk, because Kraken has come under fire from the SEC again. Even before we get started on this, let's just talk a little bit about the SEC and its net. The SEC is a very large regulatory body, and they have a huge number of agents and enforcement personnel and employees. But to come after an entire industry that's worth $1.5 trillion, I think is setting them up for failure. Gary Gensler only has a little over a year left in power, and this seems to me like a desperate attempt to solidify, to codify the SEC's stance in stone. Let me put it this way. If you are a king and you know that you're on your deathbed, you want to do as much as you can in the final years of your life to ensure that your vision, your direction for the kingdom will continue for as far after your death as possible. Same thing happened with presidents. They want to do as much as they can on the first week to show people that they mean business, and then they want to do as much as they can in the last few days, weeks, months of their tenure as the president to ensure that as much of their direction is carried forward as possible, because many things that you start, it's not very simple just to stop them, right? There are plenty of programs right now that may be unpopular now, but they were popular when they were created, so they continue because they're incumbent, right? Gary Gensler, I believe, is aware that he will not be the chairman of the SEC 2 years from today. And so if he's able to open up a ton of cases that he has been thinking about for a very long time, if he's able to put pieces in place that are difficult for his successor to remove, because his fervor against cryptocurrency may be much stronger than his successor's admiration for cryptocurrency, then his legacy of the SEC being anti-crypto will go on after he has been deposed. Does that make sense? If he is able to put as much in motion now because of his fervor, then whoever comes after him, unless it's Hester Pierce, probably won't care as much about cryptocurrency as him. And so the amount of work that they will do to stop, if they even choose to stop, the enforcement actions that Gary Gensler has started will not be sufficient to stop all of the enforcement actions that Gary Gensler has started. The good news is most of these are going to probably fall flat on their face, and they're probably not going to be brought up again by his successor, whoever that may be. I would not be at all surprised to see if it was Hester Pierce. Let's read. Kraken accused by SEC of operating unregistered platform, improperly mixing customer funds. Who's heard this one before? Coinbase is doing this. FTX was doing this. We know FTX was doing it. Binance is doing it. Now Kraken's doing it. Who isn't mixing customer funds, right? Let's just pause. The accusations of mixing customer funds is an issue. And if it's true, something should be done. All right? The SEC does have a place. They are the securities, and they are the exchange commission. Kraken is an exchange. Coinbase is an exchange. FTX is an exchange. Binance is an exchange. Gary Gensler knows that in history, he will have egg on his face because he didn't come down on FTX. So if he can open up a case against every single major cryptocurrency exchange, then at least he can do what John F. Kennedy did and say, well, look at this. We stopped the Cuban Missile Crisis. Well, wait a minute. What about the CIA under JFK going in there and trying to assassinate Castro? Well, didn't that kind of help start the whole situation? Didn't some of the geopolitical decisions earlier in the presidency lead to that situation? It's a bit like being the surgeon that removes the bullet hole from somebody that you shot, right? So I'm wondering if Gary Gensler is kind of doing the same thing. Well, wait a minute. History will remember me as the guy that came down hard on the exchanges. If I come down hard on exchanges because I missed one blowing up and losing $10 billion in customer funds. I'm not saying JFK wasn't a good president. Plenty of great things that he did. I'm not trying to knock the guy in general. But I am saying that's a tendency of people that know that they are important enough, that their life is going down in history, that if they make a mistake, they want to create a success and clean up the mess and make it look better than it was, even if the cleanup that they're doing is just for show. All right, enough rhetoric. Let's go ahead and read this article. The U.S. crypto exchange is the latest target by the SEC in a series of similar actions being fought in court by other companies. Kraken has joined Coinbase and Binance as targets of the SEC and their accusations that companies are operating without properly registering as securities businesses in the United States. The SEC highlighted a long list of tokens it considers that Kraken traded, each of which has now made multiple appearances in SEC enforcement actions. You will have seen that list before. It's actually over on CoinMarketCap. I think it is sitting right here in the categories. If you come down to, where is it? Oh, they used to have it. CoinMarketCap may have removed it. There used to be a SEC, there's the FTX bankruptcy estate, but used to say that there was a list of those coins, but there's not anymore. Anyway, cryptocurrency exchange Kraken commingled. Not sure why this is commingled customer and corporate funds while operating as an unregistered broker, clearing agency, and dealer, the U.S. SEC alleged in a new lawsuit Monday. The federal regulator claimed that the San Francisco-based company violated federal securities laws in a repeat of its suits against other crypto trading platforms. Unique to Monday's lawsuits are claimed that Kraken created a significant risk by commingling up to $33 billion in customer crypto with its own corporate assets, the regulator said, quoting Kraken's independent auditor. Similarly, Kraken has held at times more than $5 billion worth of its customers' cash, and it also commingles some of its customers' cash with some of its own, the suit said. In fact, Kraken has at times paid operational expenses directly from bank accounts that hold customer cash. The SEC claims that Kraken simultaneously operates as an operates an unregistered broker, clearinghouse, and exchange, echoes its complaint against Binance and Coinbase from earlier this year. Those suits are continuing. The federal regulator, as it has with those previous suits, listed a number of tokens it deemed to be unregistered securities, including Algorand, Matic, and Near. According to the suit, Kraken took a direct role in promoting these tokens to the investing public. The SEC filing asks to permanently ban Kraken from operating as an unregistered exchange. The agency said it is also pursuing a fine and for Kraken to give back ill-gotten gains. Dun dun dun. What to say on this? If it's true, that's an issue. Let's just put that out there. If there is commingling of customer funds and corporate funds, that's an issue. Does that need to happen? No. Is that dangerous? Yes. Because what happens if the company runs out of money and they have been borrowing from the customer without telling the customer? That's a problem. That being said, is that not exactly how the banks work with fractional reserve lending? Is that not exactly what occurs when you deposit $100,000 into a bank account, and by federal law, the bank is only required to hold 10% of that, and they can go and loan out the other 90% of it for what? For business purposes. Is it fair, then, that you would hold exchanges to a standard that you don't hold banks to? By the way, when you're putting money on an exchange with the purpose of investing it, and you're not putting money into a bank for the purpose of investing it for interest income, you can get that. But typically, when you put money in a checking account, you're not making any interest on that. The bank's making all the interest that they're making on loaning that. Is that fair? I don't know. You decide. What I will say is if it's illegal and Kraken has broken the law, then yeah, there's got to be some kind of consequence for that, unfortunately, even if it's a stupid law. At the same time, if there was going to be a line on that, I would say that the line probably should be that customer funds and corporate funds should not be mingled. I've got to say that I think that if there is going to be a law, it should be that you're not mingling those two things, even if that means that the entire traditional banking system has to be rebuilt from the ground up, which, by the way, welcome to cryptocurrency. That's one of the things we're here for. I am not against a regulator coming down on someone if that company is breaking a law, especially if that is a just law. And I don't think that it is a good thing for Kraken to be commingling customer funds with their own corporate funds. The question now becomes whether that happened, what the appropriate response is, and whether the SEC has actually been clear enough about the guidelines for operating an unregistered securities exchange. What cryptocurrency exchange does operate as a proper securities exchange? Let me put it this way. If I like to use this analogy. If I just walk up to my son, Malachi, and I tell him, you're doing this wrong, 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 and I don't give him one thing that he's doing right, and I don't give him an appropriate avenue to go through with doing what is right, am I setting him up for success? No. I'm being a critical jerk. And there is a time for correction. There's a time for discipline. It is unpleasant, but we must be disciplined. I must be disciplined. I must keep myself under discipline. And sometimes I must be disciplined by others to ensure that I am being who I need to be. That I'm being the man, the husband, the father, the son of God, the child of God, I should say. Not the son of God, but a son, a child of God. I need to be the person that I am called to be. These exchanges need to be people that they are called to be. But the SEC wants to position themselves as a parent, and any loving parent knows that while discipline is a part of it, love is the core. Discipline is a part of love, not the other way around. Love is not a part of discipline. Discipline is a part of love. And the Securities and Exchange Commission, their job, their mandate is to help securities and exchanges grow in this economy, in this market, in the United States of America. I have not seen a single time, and maybe it's because the media doesn't show it, but I have not seen a single case where the SEC has done anything to build up the cryptocurrency market. I have not seen a single case where the SEC went to an exchange and said, hey, look, by the way, you're doing this wrong. Let's help you get that on track. It's a new market, we understand, but this has to change. You got 180 days to fix it, or yes, there will be discipline. There will be an enforcement action. I get that. I understand that the government is a necessary evil in a lot of cases. You've got to keep certain things in order. I do understand that. But where is the SEC coming in with, for lack of a better word, the love to guide this industry into growth rather than trying to crush it into the ground? To continue the parent analogy, the Bible says, fathers, provoke not your children to anger, to wrath. That means don't be so hard and disciplinarian on them and show them no affection and not grow them to the point that they hate you and they want nothing to do with you and the God that you serve. Similarly with the SEC, why is the SEC not coming in and helping these exchanges to grow? It's a brand new industry. The stock exchanges have been around for 100 years. They've had time to get their act together. They've had time to mature and wise up. They've had time to adhere to the law. They've had time to do what they're asked. They've had time for compliance is the word I was looking for. Kraken, Coinbase, Binance, I have a feeling that many of them were either blindsided or almost completely blindsided by these lawsuits. And I don't think that that's the mandate of the SEC. And if it is not if that is not the mandate of the SEC to help securities and exchanges, those that, securities and the companies they represent, and the people that trade the securities and the exchanges, while at the same time saying, yes, there are laws, there are rules, there are guidelines that must be followed, and we cannot compromise on those. Then is that an exchange? Is that a commission that is actually helping anything? No. That is a commission that wants to destroy the very, to continue the analogy, child that they are intended to build up and grow. It is my job as a father to raise my son and my daughter into good men and women of God, to help them become all that they are called to be, to help them to grow, to help them to become better than I, not to crush them into the ground because they didn't follow a rule correctly. And there is a place for correction. There's a place for discipline, and without it, there's a problem. There is anarchy. I get that. Believe me, I understand that. But it is my overarching goal, my job, to grow them and to help them become what they're called to be. The SEC is not a parent, and one of the problems is that they think they are. But they do have a similar role. Their job is and needs to be to help these markets, the securities and the exchanges that they oversee, the people that trade the securities and the securities, the companies that they represent, to help them flourish. That's not what they're doing. Very, very sad. So, is Kraken guilty? We'll find out. If they are, sure, fine them. But SEC needs to do their job and make sure that it was very clear. SEC needs to do their job and make sure that they were given the support that they need. And I don't know that that's happening, and that's an issue. We need responsible regulation. Agreed. If Gary had a brain, he would understand that responsible regulation would be a better legacy than an unreasonable crackdown. Yeah. As I said, I'm not against cracking down on law breaking, as long as it's a just law. Not against that. And if they've made if there's something that has been made clear and they've broken that law, then fine, I get it. Maybe there should be a fine. Maybe there should be this, that, or the other. But to just say, oh, they can't trade in the United States market. Wait a minute. How about, hey, do these things. You got 360 days to fix them, or you can't trade in the United States market. How about give a chance for repentance? How about give a chance for the exchange to actually become what it needs to become, to follow the laws? And how about the laws not being so constricting that you break the exchange's back? It's Pharisaic. All right. J Logsden 36 Logsden said, Jeb, have you tried Doge Beans coffee? I've had several roasts and they're very good. I have not, but sounds pretty good. I can look into that. Doge Beans coffee. I hope I'm not being trolled here. No, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Cool. Based out of Kentucky. I'll check it out. I've not heard of it, but I'll check it out. Just remember, guys, huge sale going on Lux Algo. You got another 3 days for that. You can find a link for that down below. And also, huge sale going on over on CT2A, the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. With the link in the description box down below, you can get 30% off for the next 3-4 days. I think it'll go through Friday. So through Friday. So if you want to get into the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, get access to all current, all future content, then make sure to sign up quickly, because I'm going to teach you all the technical indicators. Then in the technical analysis portion, I'm going to teach you how to tie them all together into a cohesive strategy and a cohesive understanding of the market so that you can go and make profitable trades and investments in the cryptocurrency market. Like I said, We've taught 5,000 people how to trade and invest and do technical analysis in the cryptocurrency markets, and I want to teach you too. So make sure to check it out. The link in the description box down below. Join the people that are already joining CT2A's relaunch. It's not even been relaunched for a week yet. We've already got people joining. So make sure you check it out with the link in the description box down below. And one final word. If you have not already signed up for Apex, there is a link down below for Apex. And Apex is my chosen decentralized exchange that allows for leverage trading. I do like to leverage trade from time to time, mostly an investor, but I do leverage trade when I see an opportunity. And when I do that on Apex. It is the absolute, hands down, best decentralized exchange for trading Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, especially with leverage, because you're able to custody your own funds. You're never going to lose them if something happens to the exchange, because just in a smart contract, it's still in your wallet. And it does have a similar interface to Bybit because it was created in partnership with Bybit. So if you're familiar with Bybit, but you're in the United States and you don't want to deal with KYC, or even if you're abroad, but you want to trade on a DEX for reasons of privacy and security, then the absolute best place to go is Apex. You can find a link in the description box down below for Apex as well. If you want a quick overview of what the platform looks a little bit like this. You can see here your order books, your recent trades, your depth charts, your funding rates, your details, your price, everything. When you connect a wallet, you'll see your trading interface over here with your longs, your shorts, your margin, cross margin, all of that. And then down here, you'll see your positions open and close down here in this box. So great exchange. Make sure to check it out. Appreciate all of you for tuning in. We're going to read chat here for a second, and then we're going to wrap it out. Yes, large rally going on Bitcoin right now. A lot of people talking about that in chat. Large rally going on Bitcoin. And that's kind of to be expected. We're still in the catchment area of these two levels of support. Uptrend, flat level. What happens from here is the question. You know, don't just take one candlestick and think that that means everything. There's plenty of large green candlesticks that happen in the middle of major corrections. We can continue on from here, or we could try and rally up here to 38 again, go to a slightly lower high like 37.5, reject. That would be very bearish for the market. So don't think just because there's a little bit of bullishness that's, you know, guns and roses for the market. It's not quite there just yet, but we will keep an eye on it. All right, we've got a couple of minutes here. I'm going to read chat. I am going over a little bit. All right. Hey, Jeb, it'll stay sideways between 30 to 40 till next year, IMO. It's kind of what I'm saying. That's pretty much what I'm saying. All right. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. DOJ. I'm going to look into that as soon as the stream is over. BN Crypto is saying that they are set to announce a significant enforcement action. DOJ. Here's the thing. This is kind of what I'm talking about. We're gonna kind of look at this later. Cyber scam organization disrupted through seizure of nearly $9 million in crypto. Tuesday, November the 21st. I can only imagine that this is going to be the announcement, because this is what was announced today. It'd be interesting if they had two announcements in one day. It says over 70 victims. That's great. Look, you know, those 70 victims, they need obviously there's justice that needs to be had if there's been scamming going on. But people are worried, oh man, are they going to ban Bitcoin? No, that's not the Department of Justice's job. The Department of Justice's job is an enforcement agency, not a legislative agency. Now, I understand that's the job of the presidency also, and the president really loves, every president, obviously this is bipartisan, every president loves to sign as many executive orders as he possibly can because he wants to become a king. Again, that's across the board. Bush did that, both of them. Obama did that. Trump did that. Biden's doing that. I get it. I'm not trying to say one party's done more than the other, because they all just do more than the last. But typically, the DOJ is not the one that's just banning Bitcoin. That wouldn't be coming from the DOJ. So that's probably all that is that enforcement action against widely cryptocurrency through romance scams and cryptocurrency confidence scams, which are widely known as pig butchering. All right, so that's probably the announcement. We will look into that when it comes, but it's probably nothing that's going to impact you. Thanks, Jeb, for bringing back CT2A. Bulletproof Dean said, thank you so much. Really appreciate your support, Bulletproof Dean. Are you in CT2A? If you are, did you enjoy it back in the day? And are you looking forward to there being new content coming? I want to get some more content in there, even just before the end of the year. I've got so many videos I want to put in CT2A. There's already a bunch in there, but I want to put even more in there. Really looking forward to that. All right, guys. We are already 10 minutes over our stop time, so I am going to go ahead and wrap it out. If you enjoyed today's stream, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to go ahead and join all those affiliate links down below. It helps support the channel. You're going to get great deals out of all 3 of them. And by the way, looking forward to the rally that has started on Bitcoin about 10 minutes ago. We'll see what happens. I'm not really convinced that it's going to end up being, that it's going to end up breaking above 38, but it could happen. Again, we have to really kind of wait and see what the market's going to do and do our analysis. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.